Hey everyone, and welcome to EFRL for the European Formula Racing League. They're on with round 12 of 22 here right now for the British Grand Prix. We're just getting started with qualifying 1 for the full qualifying session. So let's see who is currently out on track by the time we get our map up and a few other details in the meanwhile. I think we do have some drivers already heading out on track here. As we can see there already, we got a Ferrari of 2GG out on track. So yeah. Let's get this session started and see where we're at right now. I'm just trying to see if we have any more details up. So everyone is currently going to be running mostly on the softs, I would assume, for qualifying 1. And this should be quite an interesting qualifying session as well as for the race as well, being it is at Silverstone, one of the most fun circuits we do have races at. One of my favorites as well. So really looking forward to see what the race start is going to be like here. And hopefully we do have a good race overall. So I'll be your commentator for this session here over from IG8Live Esports. Do check my channel out as well, guys. So let's get this started here right now. So let's see, we got 18 drivers on in the qualifying session right now. Only in Q1, already counting down our 18 minutes. So drivers are going to get a move on with this and try to get our lap times in as fast as possible, just to make sure that, you know, avoid any mistakes on the invalidated laps as well. They do have to account for all of that during a qualifying session, especially here in Q1, where they just getting started in the session, just getting started on the track. They have had their practice before the sessions got started as well, so should not be too new for them, but still just getting warmed up on the track here right now. They're probably going to be testing between the softs and the mediums, just to see what works well and what works best on the track. So we'll see how well they're going to be getting through with that here right now. I think we do have a few other drivers getting out on track as well, as we're following on with Tucci right now in the Ferrari. So let's see what his lap is going to be like. We're going to be on board with him just a bit as he gets around the circuit here. Not overly a long lap around here, but still quite an interesting lap. About average length, I would say, but always an interesting lap around here. It's going to be very interesting with the race itself to see how drivers are going to go through. We're going to see how penalties play a part in this as well as we get into the session, because I'm quite sure there are going to be penalties being served. We might be seeing the safety car maybe once or twice in this race. It does depend on how it goes at the start, especially. We'll see how that works out, because first few turns might get a bit chaotic. Depending on how close the grid is going to be when we get down to qualifying 3. We're going to see what sort of competitive lap times we're looking at by the time at the end of Q1 as well. So we'll know exactly where we're probably going to be standing by the time we finish off the entire qualifying session. So drivers are going to be pushing as much as they can, just to make sure that, you know, they do get the best possible timing, because they do want to start in a really good position. That was a 128.1 there for Tojichi. Not too bad for the Ferrari driver so far. So let's have a look and see who is going to be the next driver to get across the line, which might be Cap here, because Cap is actually in Sector 3 already. He's getting wrong in the Alfa Romeo, so might be getting across the line here pretty soon. So he does go across a 127.6 for Cap, pushes GG down. Groot went across with a 126.070. Not a bad time from him. So both Alfa Romeo drivers, some pretty good times on track right now. And we got Mercedes here driving the McLaren, and he's not too long now got to start on that lap. Alright, let's see who's going to be next to finish a lap here. I see like Dan Clement might be... No, he's just gotten started on his lap. Yeah, he just a bit there. He's invalidated that correct lap there as well. Where's the other Mercedes? I think that's Sagan there on out lap, now getting started on a hot lap. So let's have a look on board probably, but let me just have a look, see who else is able to finish a hot lap pretty soon. Prasek seems to be on a lap. Where is he on track right now? I think he's in front of Dan Clement, but Clement has already invalidated his lap, so we're going to stick on with Prasek here. And he's invalidated that lap there as well, unfortunately, and this does tend to happen, which we were just talking about a few minutes ago at the start of the session. These guys have to avoid these invalidated laps. This is why they get out so early on track for qualifying, especially in Q1, just to make sure they avoid these mistakes and have enough time to make up on them and just get a good lap in. So Prasek is going to be trying another lap here right now, as we can see. Interesting camera angle view, but let's see what they're gonna get us. So far only 4 lap times in the session there. We got Groot with a 125.8, we got Leo with a 127.4, we got Kappa 127.6, and Tojiji there 128.1. So a bit of a range in terms of the lap time so far. So we got to wait at least for half of the grid more to get these times in, so we can see where we're going to be standing, how competitive this grid is about to be here at Silverstone. But going to be interesting by the time we get on to by end of qualifying 1, I would say. Sagan goes up with a 125.859, about a hundredth of a second faster than Groot there. So that's going to be a pretty good time. I think the 125s might be where it's at here for this session at least. We're going to see how that works out. We might be getting a bit faster when we do get into the qualifying 3, but we'll see how that works out. Qualifying 2 might be a bit faster a bit as yet, depending on how it goes with the strategy there. Clement goes 126.074 there in P3 right now, third fastest in the session. Not too bad of a time for him. I think that was actually pretty close, just about 700 of a second away from being in the 125, so not overall a bad time there. Gargamel on track here in the Haas. He's up to sector 2 here right now on his current lap that he's running, so let's have a look and see where he's going to be at the end of this lap, and hopefully he's able to keep that car fully on track and avoid an invalidated lap at this point and just get it across the line, hopefully getting a time, maybe a 126 or maybe even a 125 if he can. We got Demon there going 5th fastest, 128.026, not too bad of a time from him there. So far 6 drivers with lap times in this qualifying 1 session, really not too bad so far. So we're doing pretty well. We got a purple sector 2 coming off Gargamel there so far. His sector 1 time was not in the purple, by the way, but still could be on for a pretty good lap. We do have drivers sometimes pull off a purple sector 2 or sector 3, or even a sector 1, sector 2, or sector 1 and 3, depends on how it goes. Either just missing off a purple on one sector and still can get a fastest lap in a session. Just depends on how much faster they're actually going in these sectors here right now. So he's about to get across the line, goes fastest in the session, as he just said, 125.4, 400 of a second faster than Sagan's time there. So he just messed up sector 1. That's where his problems seem to be right now, and he needs to just work on that, maybe just a little bit there. Eska here, where is he on track right now in the McLaren? So he's in sector 2. We're going around here right now. Let's see where he's gonna go by the time the end of this lap. We're starting to get more and more lap times coming here right now as we progress on through the session. About just over 8.5 minutes left here in qualifying 1, and we seem to be doing pretty well so far. That's a purple sector 2 off of Eska there. So see, drivers might be having some trouble with sector 1, maybe. It just depends. But sector 1, I think it's an easy portion of the track. Just depends on what sort of line you're really using through there. Well, brakes a little bit heavy getting into the final turns here. So let's see how he gets around, how he goes across the line, or where he does actually get here. And goes 6th fastest at 127.5. Not too bad so far. He's still holding it up pretty well. Remember, now we got 19 drivers in the session. I see Reddy Muse has joined the session. Welcome to him. Glad to have him on. Maybe we'll probably have one more join on to have a full grid of 20 by the time we get to the end of our qualifying. So let's see how that's going to work. Reddy Muse already on an outlap, already trying to get a lap in. So he's not wasting any time in this session here right now. Let's go on down to Cuban here in 13 on the grid. He is invalidated that current lap, so going to have to try that again. Cap and Debuzak are out of this session, unfortunately. So we're not going to be seeing lap times from them here in Q1. I'm not sure if there was any sort of quali ban in place for anyone or not. I'm not sure about Cap. They do a lap time at 127.6. Of course, I don't think he made it back to the pits after doing that lap, which is why he is all the way down in 15th on the grid. Because if you do a lap time in qualifying and you don't make it back to the pits, it doesn't count. You go down to the bottom of the grid. Devils here running a lap right now. A purple sector 1. So looking good on that on this current lap. So let's see where the Red Bull driver is going to place that car on the grid as he gets across the line pretty soon, in about a minute's time or so. Running through sector 2 here right now. Seems to be going pretty well so far. Trying to keep that car on track as much as he can. And got a purple sector 2. So Devil's on for a very good lap so far. Let's see if he's able to finish this off. Should probably call him Michael instead of Devils. I just got stuck with Devils from the start of the season, so I'll just keep with that. And that is a full purple lap. Goes fastest in Q1 at 125.3, 100th of a second faster than Gargamel and there. And now we're talking, we're getting into these more into the 125s. And it definitely looks like that's where the competitive lap times are going to be at. Let's see where Ready Muse and Prasek are up to right now. Ready Muse has invalidated his lap. Prasek on a lap still and running through here in Sector 1. And Havlis has joined the session. Hopefully he gets on here, makes it 20 for us, and that's going to be interesting as well if he gets on. Welcome to him in the session. I hope he joins on the grid. So we're going to have a full grid of 20. And that's going to be quite interesting to see. That's going to mean we should have only 15 going over to Q2 there. And an invalidated lap there for Prasek as well. Enter here in the racing point. Haven't talked to him about him in the session so far. That's a purple sector 1 off of that racing point driver there. So Enter doing pretty well on this current lap so far, I would say. Let's see how sector 2 time goes though. Because he does have to get that at least maybe close enough into the purple, if not into the purple, just to maintain a good lap here. These guys do maintain a certain level of focus on these qualifying laps. Oh, and loses the rear and loses the car off track just a little bit. That's going to be his lap messed up there. I don't think he's definitely not going to be able to get that in the purple for a sector 2. But never know. These guys have surprised us before. And Devils goes even faster right now at 125.257. Cuban goes up into second with that current lap time that he did, a 125.292. That's literally a 400th of a second time difference between P1 and P2 as we have it there right now. So Devils and Cuban looking pretty good up there with the times that they do have Gargamel about 2/10 behind them. So really quite impressive out front as we can see so far. Havlis has joined onto the session. Welcome to him there. Luki in the next Ferrari here driving so far. Let's have a look on how his lap is going right now. It's currently in sector 1 getting around. Okay, it's not the best of lap for Luki there. 133.3. Where is Mercedes with his McLaren on track? Sounds a bit weird saying that, but let's see how he's going here right now. Might be on a lap there. We'll have a look on how that's working for him. Havlic's on a lap here as well. Let's have a look at him in the AlphaTauri as he gets around. So far we had some pretty interesting lap times come in. We got Havlic's currently in sector 1. So in the meanwhile, let's have a look at our grid as it lines up so far. So Devil's currently fastest here in Q1. We got just under 2.5 minutes left in qualifying 1 here as well. At 125.257 for him. Cuban second fastest, 125.292. Literally 400 of a second time difference, and that's very impressive between the two of them. Gargamel only 2 tenths behind that at 125.487. And then Jerry there, P4 right now. At 125.526, a tenth behind. We have Sagan currently in 5th to 125.859, 3 tenths behind. Groot in 6th, and he's out to qualifying 1 so far. 125.868. Just 100 of a second time difference between them. And now we got someone that's going. Mercedes went 5th and pushed the rest of the grid down. He's now with a 125.813, 400 of a second faster than Sagan's time in the Mercedes so far. So quite impressive between the two of them. And then we got, after Groot, we got Clement currently 8th, 126.074. Jurek 9th currently with a 126.2, 2 tenths slower there than Clement. Then 2GG there in 10th, 127.1. That's the first 127. Leo currently 11th, 127.4. Escas 12th, 127.5. Demon there 13th, 128.026. Luki 14th, 133. And he goes down to 16 now. Havlis goes up into 14th with a 128.2. Cap there with a 127.6 there in 15th. We're going to see how this works out in terms of who's going to be going over to qualifying 2 in just a bit. That's about to come down in less than a minute's time. So Havlis is not the best of time for him, but still at least getting a lap time in. Where is NT on track? Is he going to be able to get a time in before the session comes to an end? Prasek on another outlap there, really trying to push for a really good hot lap and trying to make him get himself over into the next session. We'll see how that works. But Devizak and Redimuse, unfortunately, definitely will be out of qualifying 2, as we see there right now. And Luki, if he doesn't improve that time, will be out as well. So we'll see how that works. I'm not sure if Cap will be making it in. I think he should be able to make it in. We'll see how that works for him. If not, there'll probably just be 14 drivers going on. Okay, so that is it there for qualifying 1. Now we're going to have a look at the final results in just a bit. We're waiting to see Enter is going back into the pits. I'm not sure if anyone else is still going. Let's have a look at Prasek down at the back here. Looks like he might be finishing up this current lap or probably going to the pits. Let's have a look what the plan is here right now. And he's going to finish off this lap. And let's see if he does get it. He does get a lap. Goes 11th on the grid, 126.7. Not too bad of a time there right now. Alright, so we're going to wait for our final results here for Q1, and then we're going to head straight on over to qualifying 2 and see how things are going to go over there. I think we're just waiting for about 2 drivers to retire their car off of the session, and that should be it. Clement looks like he's on a lap here as well. Let's have a look. No, he's on a slow lap. He's just going to retire that car, and then we'll get off to the session. Okay, so just waiting for a second, just for we just got about a second more left anyway, and that's gonna be it. Let's have a look at our qualifying 1 results and then head on over to Q2, and let's see how that session is gonna go, because it's gonna be a bit interesting in there as well with strategies coming into play. So let's have a look here. So Devils did still go fastest in the session, 125.257. Keeper went second fastest, 125.292. 400 a second time difference between the two of them. Not too bad at all. Then we got Gargamel in there, third fastest in the session. Jerry went fourth. Mercedes fifth. Sagan 6th. Groot 7th. Clement 8th. Jurek 9th. Entier 10th. Prasek 11th. Demon 12th. To GG 13. Eskas 14. And Leo there 15. That's our top 15 going over to qualifying 2. Starting in 16th is going to have to be Havlis. Cap starts 17. Lukey will start 18. Debisak will have to start 19. And Ready Muse will have to start 20 on the grid as it is there right now. Well, no time from Debisak and Ready Muse in that session, unfortunately. So let's head on over to qualifying 2 and see how the cars are going to perform on the track there. Hopefully it is a dry session throughout as we go on with that. Okay, so into qualifying 2 here right now. 15 minutes on the clock, started already there. So let's have a look. We already got some drivers starting to head out on track here. So this should be a little bit of an interesting session. Because remember, they will have to start the race on the tires that they do their fastest laps on here in Q2, provided they make it over to qualifying 3, of course. So let's see who those top 10 drivers are going to be, because there's only going to be 10 drivers heading on over into Q3 as it is. And we do have a car out on track. I think that's Leo, forced out in the session already. So he's already got to start on his out lap here. I'm looking forward to get started on his hot lap pretty soon. Gonna see how well that's gonna go for him. Okay, so we got quite a few more cars heading out on track here right now. Remember, 15 drivers in this session, so not overly a busy session if everyone gets out on track at the same time, but still should be quite an interesting session, because we're going to have a majority of the cars are going to start to get out. We only have 15 minutes left in the session, so we're down to already just under 30 minutes, so they're going to have to get a move on and just get these cars out and get them going, because remember, as we said in Q1, they do have to avoid the invalidated laps as they get around the track. So going to be a bit interesting to see how they handle all of that here. Just trying to avoid those invalidated laps, just trying to get their lap times in, because they do need to make it over into qualifying 3. And of course they have to take into account what tires they're going to be doing this on. So let's put tires on. We're going to put it on to best so we can see what's going to be happening. It looks like the plan here for most of these drivers is to do the laps on the mediums, so they're trying to start the race on the medium tires as it seems. So we'll see what sort of strategy exactly they're planning to run in the race here. If this is going to be a 1-stop for them, or if they're planning to do some sort of 2-stop, we're going to see how that works out by the time we get to the race session. And have a look at that there, especially with our top 10, what they're going to be starting on by the end of this session. We'll have a look at that as well. But it did look quite good in qualifying 1 with the top of the grid. So let's see how it's going to look here in Q2. Q3 going to be a bit more interesting as well, as everyone's going to be pushing flat out, just trying to make the best possible time. And everyone's going to be using the soft tires in that session there, so it's going to be a bit more interesting as well. I think 2GG has invalidated his lap, so basically what we were talking about is still happening here in the session. It's just they have to avoid the invalidated laps right now, trying to get these laps as clean as possible, just to make sure that they do make it through pretty well. We're gonna stick on here with Prasek as he goes on through. Leo just made a time at 1:30.6, and he did that on the softs, so not the best possible time here right now. So we saw some better times there in Q1. So let's see how that's gonna hold up against the rest of the grid as they get across the line, because we do have a few more cars about to go across the line there pretty soon. I think Clement might be going across as well, and Clement goes 1:26.1 on the mediums. And I don't think that's such a bad time, being it's on the mediums as well. So we're still going to stick on here Prasek as he goes around. Let's see if any more times are going to come in the meanwhile. And he goes a little bit wide there and loses that lap. That's an invalidated lap there right now. Went a bit too off the track for that one. They're going to go on with Devils here right now. He is in sector 2 and going through. We got Groot going second fastest in the session right now, 1:26.3. Eskers goes third fastest, 1:28.016, as we have it there right now. So another invalidated lap there from Devils as well. Let's have a look and see who else is currently running a lap. His teammate Demon here. Not sure if he's running a hot lap there or not. I think he might be. Looks like he is pushing as much as he can to get that done. Where is Jerry on track right now in the Williams? He's running a lap in sector 2. Let's have a look on how his lap is currently going. Might be going pretty well. Oh, and currently we have NTR fastest in the session now, 1:25.7 from him. So that's only 1:25 in qualifying 2 here right now. Clement now down to second with his 1:26.1. Of course, that was on the mediums. Most of these guys are trying to do this on the mediums right now. NTR did that on the soft. Still quite good of a lap and goes into P1 with that. Groot now second fastest, 1:26.081. A tenth faster than Clement now. Jerry now goes fastest in the session on 1:25.750, a hundredth of a second faster. And he goes up P1 with that. NT is now down to second on the grid so far. Let's have a look down at the back here. We got Prasek, Gargamel as well running. Where's Gargamel? Gargamel just getting started with his lap here right now. So we're going to stick on with the Haas driver and have a look at the rest of the grid as more times will be coming in pretty soon. And I see Prasek now goes 1:26.089. And that's about 8 thousandths of a second slower than what Groot did. So very close off between the two of them. Both on the medium tires here as well. Enter back into the pits. Clement back in. Mercedes back into the pits. Leo might be running another lap. And we get a purple sector 1 off of Gargamel so far, so not too bad. So we're going to keep on Gargamel still. We got at least this upper half of the grid so far where their lap time's in. Just waiting to see where the rest of the grid is going to go. And that's a purple sector 2 now from Gargamel. So he seems to be on for a pretty good lap. Hopefully he's able to actually finish this lap without invalidating it. Got it just a few more corners to go. And a few very dangerous corners as well, as where drivers do tend to invalidate sometimes, even around the final turn. And there he goes, losing that car. He loses the rear. And that's going to be his lap over for him there. He's going to have to try that again. We got just 7.5 minutes left here in qualifying 2. And he's already passed the pit entrance. So he's going to have to go all the way around the track to get back into the pits. Let's have a look at Cuban here. So Cuban here running a purple sector 1 so far. Seems to be doing pretty well. And that is another invalidated lap there. Unfortunately, that's going to be happening quite a lot. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid. So let's see how our grid looks right now. So Devil's currently fastest in this session, 1:25.592. Jerry there, second fastest, 2/10 slower than that, 125.750. N-Tier, third fastest, just about 100 of a second slower, 125.767 so far. So very interesting times as we're seeing there. We got some cheering going on for Gargamel there right now. Gargamel currently in down to 12 with his 134.3, but I think he just had a bad lap. He's trying to get a good lap here. We're going to have a look at him back in just a bit. He's doing another lap right now. No, he's going back into the pits. So we're going to keep on with Sagan here at the moment. Let's have a look on how his lap is currently going. As we're going through the grid, so Groot was 4th fastest, 126.081. Prasek 5th fastest, 126.089. And that's a thousandth of a second time difference. Sorry, a few thousandths of a second time difference, so not too bad with that. Clemens currently 6th, 126.1. To GG is about 5/10 down on that, 126.6 for 7th. Mercedes in 8th, 126.7, a 10 down. And then we got Leo there in 9th, 127.1. Demon 10th, 127.7. So that's our top 10 as we have it so far. And remember, it is only going to be the top 10 drivers going over to qualifying 3. They have to keep it in that point right there. So let's see if Sagan gets a good time as he gets across the line. Goes P7, 126.560, 10th faster than Tojiji there. So not bad of a time at all. Holds him into the top 10 for now. We'll see how well that's going to go across as the rest of the grid still is trying to get some better times in here right now. We got a slow lap going on with Demon here. He's getting back into the pits apparently there. We got Eska on out lap at the moment, so he's going to try another lap here. Gargamel back into the pits, Jurek back into the pits, Cuban back into the pits. They should be getting up pretty soon. We got just about 4 minutes 40 seconds left here in qualifying 2 to finish off the session. So really not a lot of time left to get a really good lap around the track here. Probably just one last go or two last go at it before the session comes to a close. So they're going to have to just hurry up and get a move on with that. And hopefully make a good enough lap time to take themselves over in the qualifying 2. Of course, we can still look at the tires there. And as we can see, most of these drivers are doing their laps on the medium tires, so we should be seeing majority 125s down into qualifying 3, as we're seeing mostly the 126 here. We still do have about 3 125s up on that leaderboard there right now, and 2 of those have been done on the medium tires. N-Tier has done his on the soft, so Devils and Jerry doing pretty well there even on the mediums, as they've got extremely good and competitive lap time in. So we're gonna see how that works for them in the race as well when they do get to that point. So we're gonna follow on with Cuban right now on a out lap. Should be getting some of this out lap pretty soon, as he's already into sector 3 going around, so we'll keep an eye on him as he's going there right now. Gargamel on an out lap there as well. Eska's on an out lap, so we'll keep an eye on both of them as they get around to. TG retired off of the session. I think he did that in the pits, so he's off of that. So he think me probably happy with his 126.6. We'll have to keep that either way. We'll see how that works for him, and hopefully he's able to keep him into the top 10. And we do have a lot of drivers that are going to try for another lap before the session comes off to an end. And looking pretty good so far. We got a purple sector 1 off of Cuban here, so let's see how the rest of the lap is gonna go. But so far it's looking quite good. Actually, I'm gonna go on board with the horse driver at the moment and have a look at him. I'll probably have a full look on board with someone around the track in just a bit before we end off Q2. We're just going to wait a bit and see where we have Gargamel and Jurek about to get started on their lap pretty soon. And Gargamel just got started on his. Gonna have a look on board with him and see how his lap is going here right now. And it is flat out through turns 1 and 2 getting around this track. Always a lot of fun just getting through there as well, especially on the hot lap going through and even in the race, chasing after someone or just trying to keep in front of a car. Always a lot of fun. Let's see if he's able to get a purple sector 1 on this one here. And that was a purple sector 1 there for Gargamel, and so far so looking pretty good on this lap. Does need to transition this over to sector 2 and get a purple time there as well. Let's see how he goes. Hopefully does not exceed any track limits around here. And he's using up as much as that curve as he can to get around. Should be getting to the end of sector 2 here pretty shortly. We'll see how that is going on for him. Using a very good line so far, I would say. It's keeping it together as he gets around. Actually got that done quite well. Now that's a purple sector 2. I'm not too surprised at that because he did get through pretty well there. Let's see how sector 3 is about to go. He might be looking to get into the top 3 here for this session. So, oh, and he went a bit too off on that curb there, and that was going to be such a good lap. He's going to have to try on that lap on the same set of tires here if he wants to get a lap time in to take him over to qualifying 3 right now. And he's going to get started on another lap. So let's see how that's going to go for him. Hopefully that does go well. And that was on the very final sector, losing that car there, just a bit too wide on the curb. Do have to keep the tires over that. So let's have a look. Jurek is on a lap here right now as well. Eska currently with a 128.016 only. So currently in the drop zone we got, oh, Jurek is now up into 9th with a 126.2 there. So not too bad. Down in the drop zone we got to Gigi there in 11th, Leo 12th. Demon 13, Eskas 14, and Gargamel there 15. Of course, Gargamel on another lap. And let's have a look, see if he's going to be able to improve himself on this current lap here. Not sure if he did a faster sector on sector 1 there. Let's see how the rest of the lap goes for him, though. Hopefully on this account he doesn't invalidate, because this is going to be his last chance. We have less than 10 seconds left here in qualifying 2. And that's going to be it. He's not going to be able to do another lap after this one. Anyone currently running a lap, this is going to be their final lap here in qualifying. Clement currently holding on in 8th. Not the safest part to be. We do have Eskas and Demon on track running a lap right now. And it looks like he is running a lap up there as well. I'm going to see how that's going to work for him. Remember guys, the top 10 will have to start the race on whatever tires they use to do the fastest laps on in here. As we can see the tires there. And Gargamel goes up into 10th at 126.5 on the very final lap he just did. So let's see if that's going to be able to hold them off there. Sagan probably on a lap, and definitely is so on a lap here right now. If Sagan gets into the top 10, that's going to push Gargamel out. And he just needs to go literally 500 of a second faster than his previous lap time here, as he's about to get across the line here right now. Let's have a look how close this is actually going to be. And he's not going to get it at actually he did get it at 126. I thought he got a 127. 126.081. That pushes Gargamel down to 11th. Let's have a look at Eskas and Demon here right now. So Demon should be getting across the line first. Let's have a look if he's going to be getting a faster timing or not. Does need to get it faster than a 126.2. I'm not going to be able to get that. He's going to have to start right there. Eskas going back into the pace, and I think that's going to be it. It looks like Gargamel and Gigi, Demon, Leo, and Eskas are going to be out of qualifying 3. And that's going to be the starting positions as they are on the grid there right now. So they're going to have to start the race right there. Let's have a look at our final results for the session as everyone gets back into the pit lane. And then we're going to go onwards from there. Okay, so qualifying 2 results as we have it there right now. We got Devil's fastest lap here, 125.592. Cuban second fastest, 125.726. Jerry third fastest with a 125.750. As you can see how close that is with him and Cuban there as well. Entier fourth, Mercedes fifth, Sagan sixth, Groot 7th, Prazasek 8th. We got Clement there in 9th, Jurek in 10th, and that's our top 10 going over to qualifying 3. Starting in 11th is going to be Gargamel, 12th is going to be Tojiji there, 13th Demon, 14th Leo, and Eskas will have to start 15th on the grid. We're going to head straight on over to qualifying 3 right now, where everyone in the top 10 is just going to be pushing for the fastest possible time to get the best possible starting position on the grid for the British Grand Prix. So let's get on straight over to that. Alright guys, into Q3 we are here right now. 12 minutes already started on the clock. We're already down to 11 minutes, 8 seconds as we have it going on. This time is going to go away pretty quickly from the guys here. So let's have a look and see who is currently up on track already. So it looks like Jerry there, not wasting time in this session. He's getting out very early. Williams are always tend to be getting out a bit early in the session. They really don't want to waste any time. Just avoid the invalidated laps as quickly as they can and just get some good times. You know, everyone is going to be running on soft tires in this session. We don't have to keep tires on here, and they're just going to be pushing as hard as they can, as much as they can in this session, just to try to get the best possible time in. It's very, very important that they do start somewhere at the front of the grid. No one wants to be starting down in the midfield or down at the back of the grid here for the British Grand Prix. Not a good look on any of the teams. And definitely not a good position as well in terms of fighting for position throughout the grid, because in the midfield and down at the back, and mostly in the midfield I would say, is where it gets a bit nasty going through the first few turns on the track, as it is flat out. There's absolutely no braking, so cars are going to push as much as they can, and then when it does come on to the braking zones, they're probably going to be a bit late on it, or some guy might be a bit early on it. That's going to tend to cause a bit of contact between cars and maybe a few incidents as well. So definitely looking forward to the start of the British Grand Prix here right now. Just about under 10 minutes away from that, so not too long of a wait more that we do have here right now. So let's see how well that's gonna go for the guys here. Alrighty guys, so we got some hot laps getting started here right now, and we're definitely going to see proper sectors because no lap time set it as yet. So we're expected to see some 125s here in this session. Let's see if that's going to be the case or not, as we have Jerry about to get across the line here in just about 3 more turns to go. So let's see how fast he's about to go across the line, and looks like it might be a good time. Might be in the 125. Let's do it at 125.358 there for Jerry. Looking pretty good so far. Who's going to be the next driver getting across the line here? Let's have a look here right now. And looks like that is going to be Groot as he comes around the final few turns here as well in the Alfa Romeo, and about to go across the line. Is he going to go faster than Jerry? Let's have a look. From the final turn back onto this pit straight here right now, and goes across the line with a 125.4, a 10 slower only. And who is next? It looks like Mercedes in the McLaren here will definitely be next, and invalidates on the very final few turns, getting around here, and I have to try another lap when he does get back around there. We think we got Cuban coming around next, and definitely so. So Cuban goes across the line fastest in the session at 124.9, an incredible lap time from him. And I think we got Devils coming around next here with N-Tier behind him starting on his hot lap. So let's see what that's going to go. Devils go second fastest, 125.1 so far. Just about 2/10 off of the time of Cuban, and at 2/10 faster than Jerry there as well. So not too bad of a time. Jerry and Mercedes both on separate laps there. Mercedes have to try to get another lap started. Jurek, of course, on a lap getting through here right now. He's still in sector 1 and going. N-Tier still on an out lap going through here. He's about to get started on his lap very soon. Let's have a look at Jurek in the next racing point as his lap is going through. And let's have a look and see how that is going for him. And does go a bit wide there, but still holds on to that lap so far. So as we have it, Cuban fastest in the session, 124.9. Groot second fastest, 125.1. Devils 125.195. just about 100 seconds slower there currently in P3. Jerry fourth fastest, 125.3. So Cuban currently holds on to a provisional pole start here for the British Grand Prix. Looking a bit cloudy off in Q3 here right now. And we're going to start to see some more laps. And Jerry goes 126.3 into fifth with that one there. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid. Who's coming around? I think NT might be the next driver coming across the line here. It looks like, yep, he is. Behind him is Clement, and then I think probably Groot just going around the track there. So let's see how he, probably Sagan after that. So let's have a look at NT as he is about to get across the line here. One more turn to get it wrong, and hopefully he doesn't get it wrong. Gets it wrong and goes across the line and goes fifth fastest, 125.4 so far. Where is, who's next? Actually, I think it's Clement that's next. Actually, no, it's not Clement. It's going to be Sagan next, his teammate here. So Sagan's about to go across the line in the Mercedes. New teammate there for Dan Clement. And he goes 125.6 so far. Not too bad. Let's see where Clement is going to go. And he gets it wrong. He's coming just behind his teammate there as well. So let's see how the two Mercedes drivers perform against each other here right now. So 125.6 from his teammate. And he goes 125.9. 3/10 slower than his teammate there. And they're holding on to 6 and 7 so far. Pravsek on a lap, about to finish as well. And let's see where he goes on the grid. And goes 8 fastest, 126.240. Not too bad with the time so far. So only driver yet to make a lap time here is Mercedes there, driving the McLaren. Currently it's 10. That's going to be the worst possible start he's going to get in this session. Currently holding on to the fastest lap in the session is Cuban out there with a 124.9, and he's out on another outlap right now, definitely trying to improve his time. Doesn't want to be losing out on a pole position start here at Silverstone. So let's see if he's going to be able to improve from his 124.9 and possibly get a faster time in there as well. Okay, so my apologies about that. Let's have a look back at our session here, see what's going on here right now. Alright, so I think Mercedes finally on the lap getting through. Looks like he's flying around the track there for a second. Let's have a look on how this lap is going for him. Not a purple sector, but still, he seems to be going pretty fast. And let's see how he's going to finish off the lap. We know we have some drivers on another lap getting out there as well. So let's see how they finish up the session. We got just about 2 minutes left in qualifying 3. We're going to close that off in just a bit and head straight on over to the race session, which is definitely what we're all looking forward to. Alright, 125.531 from Mercedes there. Not too bad of a time. We do have a lot of drivers on outlaps there, so let's have a look on how they're going. We're following on with our good friend Cuban here, currently holding on to a provisional pole start here for the British Grand Prix. 124.9, now an incredible lap time from him. He's the only driver into the 124s so far throughout this session. So let's see if he's going to be able to hold on to that time as we get all the way to the end of Q3. We just under 1 minute 20 seconds to go. He's doing a purple sector 1. He's about to beat his own lap time here, apparently, what he's trying to do. So let's see if he's actually going to be able to do that. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the grid if it's going to get a bit mixed up more with our drivers on their final laps getting around here right now. Because I know we do have some drivers going across the line, getting started on hot laps there right now. Clement is going to drop back into the pits. He might not be getting out because he doesn't have enough time to do another lap here. It looks like he might be starting P4 as we have it currently, but we do have drivers trying to get faster laps in. Let's see if that's going to happen there or not. That might be happening, and that's a purple sector 2 from Cuban so far, doing pretty well on this lap. If he's able to keep it together in Sector 3, he definitely might be surpassing his current fastest lap time there, 124.9. Might be going just a few tenths faster, but let's see how that's going to work for him. He's definitely trying to hold on to that pole position start. Doesn't want to lose it at this point. Wants to get the best possible advantage as he gets across the line and goes faster, about 3 tenths, 124.641. So far in the session, and Devils even went faster, was about to surpass his time. Devils went at 124.8. That would have put Devils into a provisional pole start, but of course Cuban just went faster, 124.6. Very impressive lap time from him. We do have Groot there on another lap as well. He might be getting across the line pretty soon, and I think we have either Jurek or NT are about to get across the line. That's a purple sector 2 from Groot. Definitely might have some more improved laps as we get on to the end of this session. Let's have a look and see which racing point is about. Oh, and just an invalidated lap here right now. Enter just went across the line. I don't think he went and had a faster time, so that's going to be it for Groot. Let's have a look. Where is Jerry on track? He's invalidated his current lap as well. He's not going to be able to make a faster one. So has Mercedes there. That's out for him. Sagan on a lap here right now. And he's currently in Sector 2 going. Where is Prasasek on track? And he's invalidated that lap. And that Mercedes is done. They're going to have to repair that car very quickly before the start of this race. Let's have a look at Jure getting back into the pit. Prasasek, where is he on track right now? And he is finished with his lap currently there as well. So I think that's going to be it there for our qualifying, guys. I think we're finally up with that. And that's going to be the end of Q3. Quite an intense end to it there as well. Especially with that Mercedes crashing into the wall. Hopefully everything's okay on that end. So let's have a look and see final results officially for the starting grid for the top 10, and then we're gonna head straight on over to the formation lap and the race session itself, which we've been looking forward to for the past hour or so. Always a fun hour during qualifying session when it's a full qualifying, and then we get to the race session, another hour. Alright, so we're gonna wait for the drivers just to get into the pits here right now, and then let's see how that's gonna go for them. Okay, so our top 10 qualifying results for qualifying 3 so far. We got Cuban is going to be starting on pole with Devils alongside him in second there. Groot is going to be starting third on the grid. Entier is going to be fourth. Dan Clement will be fifth in the Mercedes. Jerry, sixth in the Williams. Mercedes will be seventh. Prasek will be eighth in a Renault. Sagan will have to start ninth in the other Mercedes. And Jurek in the Racing Point will start 10th. So not too bad of a starting grid as we have it there right now. Let's head on over into the race session itself, and let's get that started out. Okay, so we're getting started with our formation lap here right now. As we can see, it's going to be a 26 lap race around the Silverstone circuit here for the British Grand Prix. And we're going to follow on with Cuban as he leads the field around right now. We're going to get some telemetry up on screen for you guys. We're going to put on lap data. And left for now, we're going to leave telemetry off actually until the DRS is online. We're going to look at position changes as we get started with the race. But for now, let's look at tires as we can see what tires our grid is starting on. And we can have a look at the full grid as well. So Cuban starting on pole. We got Devil starting second there. We got Groot starting third, all on the mediums. NT starting fourth on the softs. Clement starting fifth. Jerry starting sixth on the mediums. Mercedes starts seventh on the softs. Prasek starts eighth mediums. And Sagan starting direct will start ninth and 10th on the softs as well as Gargamel starting 11th on the softs. We got 2GG starts on the mediums there in 12th. Demon will start with softs as well as Leo there, 13 and 14 for the two of them. Esco starts on the medium in 15. Cap will start 16th on the hards. One bit of a different strategy change for him there. Devisak will start 17th. Redemuse starts 18th, both on the mediums. Havlis and Nuki 19th and 20th on the grid, and will be starting on the softs there as well. So going to be a bit interesting to see how this is going to pair up in terms of quite a mix of strategies on the entire grid as we have it there and getting on through. Those on the mediums are going to be running a much longer first stint before they do their pit stop, and those on the softs will be running a very short stint and doing a pit stop after that. So let's see if it's going to be a one stop or a two stop or maybe a one stop aggressive strategy for some of these drivers here, because they can do a mediums to hards, or if they can run that medium long enough, they're probably going to do to softs down to the end of the race if they're possible. And those drivers on the softs might be pulling a one stop, going straight from the softs onto the hards and going to the end of the race. Or if you're feeling for a really aggressive strategy, might push it as much as they can, or maybe go into the mediums to go to the end, or probably do a two stop and then go on maybe soft, medium, soft, maybe some sort of strategy in that case. We'll see how it works, or maybe a medium, soft, I'm not sure. But they're going to be a bit careful with that. They might maybe most likely push for a one stop strategy in this session. We're about to get started with this race session here right now, so we're going to keep this on position changes. You guys can have a look at that as the grid gets started there. We're going to be focusing on Devil's car as we get through the first 2 to 3 seconds, and then have a look at the entire grid as they get around turns 1, 2, and 3 to see if we can catch any of these incidents that are about to possibly happen here on track. And we're waiting for those lights to start to go, and there we go. They're starting to go here right now. Okay, that's 5 lights. And they're off, and Devils gets a better start than Cuban. He might have a better run going down into turn 1, and he's already trying to take away the lead from him, so he's going to get ahead. And both of them go side by side. Devils goes a bit wide though and loses that car just a bit. He's off track into the signs on the side as well. So Cuban holds on to the lead and goes on through. Entier takes over second with Groot there in P3 there right now. The grid is a bit mixed up. You got a safety car down in the back. So something's happened down in the back. Sagan has retired from the race. Trying to have a look and see. Oh, and we got some contact happening in between all of that as well during the safety car. So 3 drivers out from the start of the race. We didn't get to catch what happened with those 3. 2GG out, Sagan out, and Jurek out of the session, unfortunately for them. Let's keep an eye here right now. Alright, so let's put this back onto tires as we have it there. We'll probably just turn the telemetry on from now, because we're going to be coming off the safety car and going probably straight onto where we're going to have DRS after that. By the time we get to the end of lap 3, the safety car should be away. So opening lap of the British Grand Prix safety car before the end of sector 1 for the incidents involving 2GG, Sagan, and Jurek down in the back, and maybe a few more drivers who took damage from that, because we're definitely going to be seeing some pit stops as we get a run back to the pit entry here from some of these drivers down the midfield, maybe down to the back of the grid. We'll see how that works out. So quite a bit of change up in the grid as well. We can have a look back at the changes that did happen in terms of losing and gaining positions there in the race as well. Enter gained 2 positions on the start there, and Groot and Cuban right there where they started. We do have quite a few drivers into the pit, so we're going to leave the position changes as it is there. Right, and go back to tires as it is. And let's have a look and see how this grid is about to change up here just a bit, because quite a few drivers will be in, and the grid leaderboard is getting mixed up once again. We're just going to leave that be as we're following on right now with Cuban following behind the safety car. He's about to catch up with that right now. Okay, so still under the safety car here right now. We did have quite a few pit stops happening down in the back of the grid there between Debizak, NT, Rady Muse, Cap, and Lukey all went into the pits. As you can see, those tires are on with 0 laps there right now. So they're going to be on a bit of a different strategy. They don't have to make a change on that. Getting through the rest of the race here right now. We're currently on lap 2, still under the safety car going. We should have that safety car go in by the end of lap 3, hopefully, and get back racing into lap 4. That's going to leave us with about 22 laps of racing to go with, unfortunately, for the safety car incident. But incidents do tend to happen on opening lap here for the British Grand Prix from time to time. So we did expect that something probably was going to happen, because drivers are going to fight a lot for position. We were trying to get down to the rest of the field, down to the back, to have a look and see if anything was happening, but I think we just missed that, unfortunately, there. And it looks like Groot is trying to start to race Cuban already, even though we're not even at the end of the safety cars yet. Alright, so we're going into lap 3 here right now. Hopefully by the end of this lap we can have that safety car go in and get straight on back to racing, and see how the rest of the race is gonna go. There was some support for Gargamel in the chat there. He's currently running 6th on the grid. Not a bad position at all. He's running on the soft tires, so he's going to be running a short stint before doing a pit stop. Probably going on to the hards to go to the end of the race. We'll see how it goes for him. Doesn't look like there's going to be any rain in this session. Doesn't to be pretty sunny out. So hopefully it does stay that way for the drivers, because I'm not sure if they brought a wet setup into this race here, or if a setup that's going to be a balance between wet and dry. That does tend to be the case sometimes with drivers and their setups. So it's going to be a pretty close gap between all of our drivers there as they get started back with the race after the safety car goes in. We're going to have to wait until they get around into the entry of Sector 3 before we actually know if we're about to go back racing here or not. We're currently running in Sector 2 on the track here. There is a separation line on the map itself, if you can have a look at it, as to where the different sectors of the track start and begin. Because every track is divided into 3 sectors. That's how we trace the lap times as they're doing purple laps between sectors to see who's getting fastest lap during qualifying sessions as well. We might have a close fight out front, or mostly in the midfield. Maybe we'll see how it goes by the time we get back started with the race. And we're about to get into Sector 3 here right now, as our safety car just went across the line there. There we go. So safety car is going to be in on this lap, and we're about to get back racing here. So definitely looking forward to some intense racing out front there. As you can see, everyone start to warm those tires up by weaving around the track just a bit. Need to keep as much heat into the tires as possible to get maximum grip when they do get back started with it. And Debizak and Havelis colliding down in the back of the grid there in 11th and 12th under the safety car. That will result in a penalty for one of them, and that was a penalty for Debizak, as he probably ran into the back of Havelis. Their teammates actually, so that's quite weird. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, or maybe a glitch. Does something happen because of a glitch? Alright, let's have a look back at this race. So our safety car is back into the pits. We're getting back started with the race here right now. Is everyone going back racing again? Jerry very close up behind Groot as they're getting through into pulling out to the side. That's Gargamel and pulling out on Clement down at the back in the Mercedes to see he's trying to get a position up if he can there. Let's go down to the back to the data actually and see what's happening. So yep, he is trying to pull a move on Clement here. Of course, Devil's just behind him and a Red Bull as well. So quite a bit of a close gap between all of them as they get on through. Out in front, we're starting to have some gaps start to form just a bit here right now. So we're on board with Gargamel at the moment. He's chasing after Dan Clement in the Mercedes, looking to get around. And does have a pretty close gap to that Mercedes as well, so he might be able to do this. But still, a pretty close gap with everyone coming just behind. We're going to have DRS coming line pretty soon, maybe the next lap or so. Just following on right now. Looks like a pretty clean start for most of our drivers so far. I don't think any contact between the start and tail. Looks like he's going to get a position up on Debizak here for 12th place. Let's have a look back out front with Gargamel and Dan Clement, and a few cars out and in behind of them as well as they all get on through. So far so good in the session. Out in front we got Cuban still leading this race, and he's now ahead by a second. Jerry just about 3/10 behind Groot now right now. Mercedes running 4th, Clement running 5th, Gargamel running about 4/10 behind Clement, along with Devils behind in 7th, about the same gap, as well as Prasasek there. So all chasing after each other right now, fighting it out for a best possible position that they can get at this point. And we're on board with Jerry right now, chasing after Groot here for P2 in this race, and he's getting a pretty good run on the Alfa Romeo driver, and definitely looking to get by. A bit of braking just to avoid contact between the two cars there right now. Got the rest of the grid coming just behind of him, so he's pushing on through as much as he can, using that overtake and trying to get into the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo driver, getting down that straight. And let's see how the braking goes, and he's going to take it on the inside just a bit, try to get around, but not enough to get a close gap to get around side by side as yet. He still has to push on through. Dan Clement down a few positions. What's happened to him down in the back here? So he's down a few positions. Prasek is now right behind him to get up that position. He was running just in front of Gargamel up there in 5th, now down to 7th. Prasek is about to get by him if he's not careful here right now. So that Renault definitely on the rear of the car, goes a bit wide. He's still pushing on through, trying to get a position right now. And Gigi is disconnected from his car. So he's out of the session. My apologies for that. He's probably just left the session there, left the lobby. And our close gap still continues on here right now. Down in the back of the grid, we still got a close gap between Redimuse and the next Renault there, chasing after Devisak in the AlphaTauri. And he's looking like he's going to get a pretty good run, using as much overtake as he can there right now. And he's lost about a 10th or 2. Let's have a look what's happening out front with Entier and Eska here, as these two might have some battle going on. He's going to take it on the inside around the final turn, getting on the pit straight, and he gets that position up on the McLaren, gets up into 11th. Not a bad overtake at all. That was quite impressive getting around there. So he gets a position up. Debusak still trying to get ahead of that McLaren there right now. And he's going to push on the inside as well, as the McLaren goes a little bit wide, pushes around the outside and goes side by side with Eska right now. Has to take back the racing line just behind though. Unfortunately not able to get ahead. Redimuse might be disconnected from his car. No, he's not. I thought he was disconnected. He does have Cap though, trying to fight him for a position. And Cap gets ahead of him there right now. Devisak and Eskas have switched positions there as well. Let's get her back out front, see what's happening with our drivers out front here. Out in front, Cuban is leading by 2.2 seconds as it is there right now. Jerry chasing after Groot, still for 2nd place in this race, with the McLaren of Mercedes coming just behind. Gargamel and Devils as well coming behind that. Clement has to catch up just a bit as they go side by side. Jerry's going to take away P2 from Groot here right now, and does take it away using the DRS advantage. Groot is down to 3. He's not going to be too happy about this. He's going to have to try and get some DRS advantage back and try to fight the position again. If he's able to get it back, we'll see how that's going to go for him. But so far, so good in this race. We still have our 17 drivers going on through. We only lost 3 drivers from the start in a bit of incident there. So Jerry gets the fastest lap, so he's doing pretty well. And we're staying on board right now, him. Let's go on with Gargamel and Mercedes here, fighting it off in 4th, 5th, and 6th here. They're fighting it for 3rd position, actually, because they're chasing after Groot right now. But Gargamel under a bit of pressure right now from the McLaren behind of him. He might be losing that position if he's not careful at this point here right now. Groot is, of course, trying to chase after Jerry at 9th, 10th behind, trying to break the gap down. And there goes the McLaren trying to get by, staying up to 4th. Gargamel gets back up to 4th right now. He's going side by side with the McLaren. Who's going to get 4th place? Let's see who's going to hold on to that one. So Gargamel currently holding on to 4th in the race, but the McLaren is still trying to fight it off. He's still trying to go side by side with him, trying to come along. And he now has to take the racing line. I think he's trying to still go side by side. Let's have a look on board. But right now, going through this section of the track, he's going to have to hold it where he is. Gargamel goes a bit off track. Clement gets a 3-second penalty down in the back there in 7th. And he's trying to hang on to that. Devil's trying to go alongside the McLaren of Mercedes right now. He gets ahead up into P5. That's the Mercedes. The Mercedes is down to 6th right now. So he's lost about 2 positions there, I believe. So Devil's up to 5th and Gargamel up to 4th right now. And a pretty close gap between all of them as we have it here right now. We're going to follow on the overhead cam. Clement has gotten up to this battle here as well. He's in 7th. With Prasasek chasing along behind him there in 8th in the Renault. So a pretty close gap out from Clement trying to get by here right now. But he does have Prasicek very close up behind of him. Let's get on board right now with Prasicek and see how he is going. And he's going to take it on the inside of the Mercedes. No, he does think about it, but does not get actually to do it. He's going to push it once again. Almost got a bit of contact with the rear wheels there. So you're going to have to just continue on just behind and chase after him. Let's see how that battle is going to go. But a pretty close gap he does have with Clement. And we do have some drivers getting disconnected from their cars there as well. We're following on right now still with Prasicek here in 8th, chasing after Dan Clement there in the Mercedes for 7th place in the race. Out in front we got Devils getting a pretty good go on Gargamel, and let's see if he's going to be able to get by. He's fighting it off for 4th position in the race right now. Of course, Groot out in front and Gargamel is still fighting it. Groot's still trying to fight it with Jerry as well. Of course, Jerry is quite a way back from Cuban. Cuban leading and having his own race out front by 3 seconds right now. But Devils in the Red Bull driving pretty well. I'm going to stay on board with him for just a bit and have a look. As you can see, 3 cars in front of him trying to fight it off for position. Gargamel getting pretty close up between Groot, but he does have to be worried about the Red Bull behind because he's coming up right to the rear of him. He's going to have the DRS advantage. He will have DRS advantage out in front from Groot's car as well, but let's see how that's going to work with him because Devils is trying to keep in the slipstream as he gets around. So there's the McLaren coming behind of him. We do have Dan Clement trying to keep within a second of a Mercedes there as well, because he does want to keep in a DRS range as much as he can, trying to get that advantage, trying to catch up with these guys and keep up with the battle out front. Down in the back we got Debizak has a pretty close gap on Cap. They might be doing a switch pretty soon. We're going to get back over here with Gargamel and see how his gap is going against Groot. He's pushing pretty hard, trying to keep it as close as he can here right now. So still a bit of a chase happening between our front few cars, except for the Cuban there. He's still now leading by 3.8 seconds, and he's building a gap, and he's going to continue to build that until he gets in the race. We're on lap 10 right now, 26. Some of these drivers are going to have to start thinking about a pit stop pretty soon, especially those running on the soft tires. Have been doing that for 9 laps so far. I can see about 4 drivers have been on the soft tires for the past 9 laps in this race since the start and have not done a pit stop as yet. Those on the medians will be able to go a bit longer, so we'll see how the strategy plays out for them, but definitely looking like a one-stop strategy for these cars right now. And I think they're just kind of looking on each other to see who's doing a pit stop first at this point, and that's going to trigger a train of pit stops happening just after that. So we're going to see how that's going to go. Let's have a look out in front here with Groot as he's chasing after Jerry right now. Lukey has retired off of the session, so that's 6 drivers left here right now. Go down in the back and see what's happening to Eskas and Cap. The 2 of them have just switched positions, and we do have Cap and Devizak going side by side here right now, and they're now behind each other. Oh, and out in front, Jerry just got a penalty, so that's going to be really interesting to have a look at there as well. I think someone is getting into the pits or someone getting out of the pits. I'm not even sure what's happening there. So we do have some pit stops happening out front. Let's have a look with our race leader here, Cuban, as he is leading in the Haas, 4.6 seconds, with Jerry running currently in second there. Groot running in third. Devils currently 4th, because Gargamel now is in a pit stop. Okay, so let's get on back into the midfield right now. I think Clement is getting a pretty good go on Mercedes. Of course, he does have Prasek just behind of him here right now, chasing him. So he's going to have to be very careful about this. And the way he approaches that overtake, definitely cannot afford to make a mistake at this point. We're going to go down to Debizak, chasing after Cap here again. These two have been switching positions a bit since the start of this race, and it's looking a bit cloudy on track here right now. Not sure if we're going to have any rain down to the end of the session. We're going to keep an eye on that and see how that's going to go. Prasek looking for a move on Clement, trying it on the inside right now. Clement gets around on the outside and tries to hold on to that position. We still got him going a bit side by side, wheel to wheel as they get. Oh, and the Renault goes a bit wide, comes back on track. I'm not sure if he got another penalty for that, but he's still trying to go side by side with the Mercedes right now, going around. And let's see who's going to come out on this in front. So far, it is Clement holding on to the position, but the Renault gets ahead right now. They might have had a bit of contact, I'm not sure. And he's still trying to push on through. Dan might be trying to find it back. Let's have a look here right now. So far, he's going to have to hold it back into P6 right now, just behind the Renault of Pratasek. We're going to have a look at penalties in just a bit as well to see where we're standing with that so far. But so far, looking pretty good. Not too bad, but still quite a lot of penalties. And that's definitely going to affect race positions at the end of the race. And we do expect a few more pit-stops to happen pretty soon here as well. So we can see some of these drivers have done 11 laps so far on those soft tires. So how much further are they planning to go in the race with them? We're going to have a look and we're going to see. Cuban still has not pitted, so I think everyone currently on the mediums are going to be looking at the race leader to see when he's going to do a pit stop. Out in front of following on with Jerry right now, chasing after Devils for second place in the race. And we do have a few drivers in the pits. We got both drivers down in the back, and Demon and I think Leo, who are on the soft tires. They've done 12 laps on them, and they're now into the pits. Getting off of that, Havlis is currently still on his soft tires. Might be pitting pretty soon in the next lap or two as well. And it's going pretty well so far. So let's see how drivers on these mediums are going to play off here now, and when they do decide to do their pit stops as well. My apologies about that, guys. Was just setting on the mic there. I think we're good. Alright, so let's have a look, see what's happening down in the back here. Ready Muse and Eskas, what's happening with the two of them? Fighting it out for 10th position in the race. On board we are right now with Eskas to see what's going on. I'm going to switch it on over to overhead cam with Ready Muse because he's pretty close off the cap in front of him with Eskas just behind. So they're fighting it off right now for total for 9th position in the race. Oh, and the cap goes wide. He's off track, losing it just a bit there right now, trying to avoid that car going into the wall. And he just misses the barriers on the side. And he's kind of drifting the car just in a very specific way just to keep the car from getting any damage. And it looks like he didn't take any damage on the car. So that's pretty good maneuvering from his end. Just trying to keep the car out of the barriers, and he's got back going. He's in 13th right now. Going back here with Eskas and Ready Muse. Not too close of a gap right now. It's 1.3 seconds. Has gone away just a bit. On with NT right now, chasing after Dan Clement there for P6 in the race. Let's see what that's working for him. He's on 2 lap fresher tires because he did pit earlier off in the race on the safety car that we didn't have, I think. Now, as we have it here right now, we got NT still chasing after Dan Clement. Let's see how close this gap is going to get as it goes out in front. 5 seconds between Cuban and Devils, and I'm quite sure Cuban is looking to see when these guys behind might doing pit stop, but I think they're all watching on him to see when he's going to be doing a pit stop or not out front. I think our closest gap we have is what we're following with here right now between Dan Clement and NT, and we do have, I think, someone just out in front. That's Prasek out in front of them. So 3 cars involved in this total at least here. And we got Prasek into the pits there right now. That's going to be putting Dan Clement and Entier both up a position. So one of the first of the front runners to do a pit stop here, and pit lane is open fully for everyone there. And as it's showing right now, from this point to the end of the race, they can finish the race if they do go onto the soft tires at this point here right now. So let's see how much more drivers are going to be pushing on the medium before they do a pit stop strategy to change off onto the soft tires to go to the end of the race. So far, very close. Entier trying to get alongside the Mercedes right now, and it looks like he's going to try and get it wrong on the inside, but the Mercedes will have the... oh, and he does actually get it wrong pretty well. Dan Clement might have gotten a bit wide, and he's getting around the AlphaTauri as well. He's gaining 2 positions in one go here. He's gotten ahead of Dan Clement and Debuzak both at the same time. Has done it in just about one turn around, and Clement has gotten ahead of Debuzak as well. Does Debuzak have damage on that car? I'm not sure. Doesn't seem like he does have any damage, but Entier and both Clement have gotten past him. Not a bad overtake for Entier there. Up into P5 he is right now. Let's go on board. Oh, and Clement is getting into the pits right now. I think he was really trying to break in time to get in there. So let's see if that's going to change the race up right now. We're on with Groot, as we do have some of our guys running on the mediums since the start of the race. They're starting to do their pit stops right now. This is a very interesting point where they will be able to go to the end of the race fully on those soft tires with enough grip all the way to the end of it. As we're getting a penalty. As you can see, Clement going onto the soft tires, and he's getting back out on track in just a bit, so we'll see where he comes back out. Ready moves there into the pits again. Esca's into the pits as well. And we do have our drivers with penalties as well. We'll have a look at penalties by the time we get maybe to lap 20 in the race here. And we'll see how that's going for them. Groot chasing after Jerry for P3 podium position in the race here right now. Groot does not have any penalties so far, so he's running pretty well. Our race leader out in front is running pretty well as well. He's done 15 laps so far on those medium tires, and he has a gap of 5.9 seconds. Let's call that 6 seconds at least, a tenth off of that. But he's doing pretty well because he's holding on to that lead and saving himself some time in case he does have to change front wings or something, but he doesn't have anyone around him to take any damage from, so it's only if he does make a mistake that's going to happen. But if he does lose some time, he has some time to work with, and he's now into the pits. So race leader is finally into the pits. That's going to put Devils up into the lead of the race here right now, and he has not pitted as yet. Groot has not pitted as yet, and we do have a few more drivers into the pit there as well, and I think top 2 drivers are the only 2. Oh, Jerry as well. Oh, Jerry is in the pits right now. So Devils and Groot, only 2 drivers who have not pitted in this race so far. They're yet to do their pit stops, and they might be doing it on this upcoming lap. We're going to have a look on board here with Devils as he gets around the track. Let's see if he's going to be doing a pit stop at the end of this lap or not. I'm not sure. But the rest of the grid doing their pit stops right now and getting back out. Cap might have to do another stop. I'm not sure if he's going to go to the end of the race with 13 laps on those mediums so far. Let's say 14 laps now, so let's see how much further he's going to push it on through. I think he's going to have to do a pit stop there though, because I'm not sure if those tires are going to be holding up until the end of this race there. Oh, we're coming around. I need to see he's going to go into the pits. Yep, he is. And so Devils is into the pits. Let's have a look at Groot here right now. He's going in just behind him as well. So both of them going into the pits. And this is Cuban coming around here right now. Havlicek is disconnected from his car. And Cuban doing purple sectors as he's getting around. So it looks like he's going to be able to take back the lead of the race. And it is getting quite cloudy on track. We're on lap 18 of 26 right now. Let's see if Devils and Groot are able to get out back on track before Cuban gets around here right now. It's a bit of a close one, but they're starting to get out of the pit lane there now, I think. Or they're just getting their stops done, but it looks like Cuban is going to go past them and take back the lead of the British Grand Prix right now. Yep, so he goes by pretty well. So Cuban goes by, takes away the lead. He's back up into P1. Gargamel and his teammate is now running second in this race with 6 laps done on those mediums. And I gotta say, it's looking pretty good to be a 1-2 finish for Haas here. Quite surprisingly. Whatever strategy the two of them ran is working pretty well. Because we have Cuban on fresh soft tires running out in front on lap 18, leading the race. Gargamel now in second with his medium tires, only 6 laps done on them. And we have about 8.5 laps left in this race. So definitely he can make it to the end of the race on those tires. And he's going to have to just hold on to P2. But of course he does have Jerry behind of him. He's going to try and come up and try to get that position up if he can. But Jerry is about a second down, or running on soft tires though, so he does have that advantage to see if he's able to catch up and get by. And he's really trying to catch up here right now. He is catching up to Gargamel, right now. We get a yellow flag there in sector 1. Someone's off track a bit, and might be one of the Renaults. It looks like he's trying to get back going. So let's have a look and see how this is going to work itself out. Groot here trying to go side by side with Mercedes right now, with the Red Bull of Devils coming in between of them, so both of them get by. Mercedes is down to 6. Let's see if he's able to get back up. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Devil's still chasing after Groot now between the two. Let's have a look and see how that battle is going to go on through. 4th and 5th between the two of them as it is here right now. Mercedes down to 6. In tier 7. Dan Clement running there in 8th position right now. Out in front, we still got both Haas leading. Gap between the two Haas drivers are 7.7 seconds. Jerry now under a second within DRS range of Gargamel, and so he might be looking to get by. Of course, neither of the Haas drivers have penalties in this race. Jerry does have a penalty. Let's bring penalties online here right now and have a look at that. So it's a 3-second penalty for Jerry. So even if he does get by Gargamel, and Gargamel just needs to stay close enough to him within 3 seconds, and will still finish second on the grid, and that's going to be a 1-2 finish for Haas there, and that's going to be quite interesting as well. And Jerry will have to take third still in case of that happening. And then we do have Groot there though in P4. He's about 3.6 seconds behind. He does have to catch up to see what's going to happen with that. Devil's trying to get past Groot here right now. And then NT trying to get past Mercedes there in the McLaren. So that McLaren might be losing another position if he's not capable here right now. Let's have a look on board with NT, see if he's able to get by. And he has a very close gap, has DRS on, and used a bit of overtake that he had as well. He's going to go alongside the McLaren driver, and he's going to take it on the inside of the next turn and gets the position up into 6 right now. He's doing pretty well in this race. That McLaren might be having some problems down there, I'm not sure, but he's lost quite a few positions already down to 7. And the next driver coming behind is Dan Clement there, second behind only, and Devils does the fastest lap so far out front. So let's have a look at how that battle is going on now between Jerry and Gargamel, and still a gap is about 5/10 as it is there right now. He has gained some time. Only problem is that Jerry now has 6 seconds of penalties, and Devils behind of him having 3 seconds of penalties. So Gargamel is looking pretty good at still finishing on the podium either way, but he still might be able to take away second place from these guys, especially with the fact that Jerry now has a 6-second penalty. And there are only 6 laps left in the race here to fight with through. So let's see how they're going to get on through that. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting finish here as well. Got 6 seconds for Jerry, 3 seconds for Devils. And then down the grid we can see the rest of the penalties. We have quite a bit for some drivers as well. I think Devils just gained that 3-second penalty, I'm not sure. But then we got Leo, Ready Muse, and Havlitz without any penalties as well. Groot there, no penalties. And out in front, Cuban and Gargamel leading this race. Both Haas drivers, no penalties on their end, so they're running pretty well on that. We're going to bring penalties back in just a bit. I'm going to switch them back over to tires to see what's happening with that so far. So most of our drivers on the fresh soft tires, a few drivers on mediums, but they're still fresh mediums, so they're going to be able to go to the end on the race. Of course, those drivers on the soft will have just a bit more of an advantage. As we can see, Jerry here chasing after the Haas driver, Gargamel, and they're trying to get that position away from him and having a bit of a difficult time because he's trying to maintain this gap of 6/10 behind and really trying to catch up. But Gargamel doing a pretty good job out front of keeping his car at least 5/10 ahead, but he's starting to lose the gap just a bit here right now. But I think it's going and coming from him just a bit, and track temperature might drop just a little bit here right now because we do have a bit of cloudiness coming on right now. There probably is a bit of a forecast for rain, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's going to come down before the end of the session. Hopefully not. We just got about 5.5 laps left to go. in this race as it is there right now, and still Jerry is going to continue chasing after him, and his Gargamel is doing a pretty good gap. Got a pretty good gap going. He's keeping that gap about 5/10 between the two of them, and I think he has to try and keep that a bit constant as much as he can here right now. He is going to try to improve that gap if he can, but going to have a bit of a hard time with Jerry on those soft tires. He's going to have that just a bit more of an advantage. We're going on to Groot right now, chasing after Devil still for 4th place in the race. Both of them running on the same 2 laps old soft tires, so bit equal between them except for the setups on their car and whatnot. And does depend who's getting DRS here right now, because Groot is getting DRS off of Devil's car. Of course, Devils is about 2 seconds down from Jerry, so he's not able to get a DRS advantage at this point here. Dan Clement trying to get past McLaren right now, and does get by up into 7, so that McLaren is down to 8 right now. Let's have a look at position changes if we can here. So let's see who's gained the most positions. Looks like Gargamel has gained the most positions in the race so far. And he does have a penalty now though. So let's have a look at that penalty. He has a 3-second penalty, so he needs to maintain a gap. Even if Jerry gets by, he needs to maintain a gap of 3 seconds in order to keep that 2nd place in the race. So I think Haas is fighting it right now under a lot of pressure, especially for Gargamel, and he's under the most pressure right now to get a 1-2 finish for this race, and that's going to be something to talk about if they actually do accomplish that as a team here right now. So let's get on back to tires and have a look on how this race is going to come down to the end. We're on lap 22 of 26 right now and going through, and I gotta say it definitely is going pretty well for Gargamel and Cuban out front, especially for Cuban. Gargamel is under a lot of pressure to keep that car in 2nd place in this race, and he's increased the gap back up to 9/10 right now between him and Jerry in the Williams down behind. Devils trying to keep him and put some pressure on Jerry there as well, and I think that's what that is probably helping Gargamel as well. So because Jerry now has to be a bit more focused on the car behind as he's starting to catch up quite a bit, because he's now about 4/10 behind him there. So let's have a look at that battle as it continues on through. Down in the back of the grid, we have a bit of a gap between most of our drivers. Clement now about 2.8 seconds behind Interior in the Racing Point. He's chasing him for that position. Might have to just hold on to what he has there right now. They all do have penalties, as we're going to see how that works out by the time we finish off the race. A pretty close gap between Devils and Jerry. This might be going somewhere. We're going to have a look. Jerry's still trying to break the gap down to Gargamel. It's now back under a second as we have it there right now. He's trying to keep himself in the DRS range, which will probably help him getting away from the Red Bull of Devils behind. And there comes that DRS advantage the Devils is going to have there as well. It does have Jerry have the advantage. Yes, he does have the advantage of DRS as well. He's going to use that to his to as much of advantage as he can to try and get away from Devil's car. Because he doesn't. Oh, and we got a safety car. This is going to put a pause on the race for just a bit here right now. And Gargamel is going to be very happy about this. We got a safety car. Something's happening. Radio news down in the back of the grid. If you can have a look, I'll try to have a look here right now. I'm absolutely not even sure where this happened on track, as I can't see any car anywhere. This might be over by the time we get into lap 24. By the end of lap 24, this should be over, hopefully. I think Havles was debating whether to try past the safety car or not, and on up himself there, but he's a lap behind. Cuban not gonna be the best in terms of being happy about this, because he was leading by 5.5 seconds. This is gonna be a bit close here right now, because we're just gonna have maybe just about 2 laps of racing left. That's probably gonna be lap 25 and 26. If we're lucky here right now, because I'm not sure how this is going to play out, because the safety car is currently waiting for the guys to catch up, and we're currently on lap 24. Are we going to be finishing this race under a safety car? I'm not sure. Or are we just going to have 1 single lap of racing left? I'm really not sure how this is going to work out, but I really do hope I hope that we have 2 laps of racing left here. We're going to see how this is going to work out, but it's going to be a bit interesting right now, because we're currently on lap 24 of 26 of the British Grand Prix, and we have a safety car happen just before this. So this means that the safety car might have to run another lap before it goes back in. But let's see what's going to happen by the time we get to the end of this lap here. when we do get to sector 3 at the end of lap 24, we'll have a look and see if the safety car is going to go in. If it does go in at the end of lap 24 right now, then that means that but then in that case they should have just given a virtual safety car for that incident and have the incident cleared and just have us go back to racing on lap 25. So that's what I'm kind of afraid of right now. We might be going under the safety car for lap 25 as well and have only lap 26 as a racing lap left. But Gargamel will be happy about that. He will only have one lap to hold Jerry behind of him to try and keep second place in the race. And even if Jerry does get by, he will be close enough to try and keep that gap under 3 seconds to still get second place. Because Haas, I think, is definitely looking forward to getting a 1-2 finish here. Oh, and there we have it. Safety car is going to be in on this lap. We're going to have lap 25 and 26 of racing to go on here. So Gargamel has to hold off Jerry for the next 2 laps. But the gap is basically the same as it was before. So he's going to have to try and get a lightning restart on something after the safety car goes in. We'll see how that goes, but quite interesting to have a safety car this close to the end of the race. So we're going to have 2 laps of racing to go on. About to get started with that very soon. The safety car already back in. We're going to keep an eye on Jerry here and see how close he's going to be on this restart. He's trying to keep as close as he can to Gargamel, getting around the final turn here right now. Gap is about 9/10 as they go on back. Racing track is green again as everyone gets across the line. And let's see how close he's going to be able to keep his gap getting around the final 2 laps of this race. Cuban already getting 1.2 seconds of a gap going on out in front. Debizak and NJ switching positions for 8th and 9th there at the back. Debizak will definitely try to fight that back, but he's lost a few tenths. Cap has retired from the session. He's out. And that has happened just on the start-finish rate. Havel is out there as well. So I'm not even sure what happened there, but 13 drivers remaining in the session. Final 2 laps. Let's see how this is going to go. Yep, and there, let's get penalties online so we can see how this is going to finish. Prasek was 17 seconds of penalties. I'm not even sure how that happened, but I think it definitely will be an interesting finish to see how this is going to work out, because a lot of penalties in play for this one here. And with 17 seconds, I think Prasek got a few penalties during that safety car. Probably an incident or something happened. I'm not sure, but let's see how this is going to finish off, because this is going to be quite interesting as well. Devil's looking to get by Jerry here for a 3rd place in the race. He's trying to get on the podium, but he definitely will get it either way, because he only has 3 seconds of penalties, whereas Jerry has 6 seconds. So that's going to put Devils up into P3 at the end of to get across the line, even if Devils cross the line P4. But he doesn't want that. He wants to cross the line ahead of Jerry, and he gets ahead. He's going alongside that. Williams still trying to get around him on the outside and does get the position up. We have the Alfa Romeo of Groot coming by, and they're still going side by side down the pit straight into the final lap of this race right now. 1.4 seconds between Cuban and Gargamel out front. Devils now in 3rd with 1.9 seconds behind Gargamel, and he's a bit safe on that end there right now, but he has to avoid getting another penalty or allowing Devils to get by him, because Devils only has a 3-second penalty, whereas Jerry has 6 seconds, so it's a bit of a change happening right now. Groot, of course, no penalties in the race, as is same for Leo there, so we're going to see how that changes positions up for them. So a bit of a fight still going on between Jerry and Devils for 3rd place in this race right now. We're going to switch on over to our race leaders in just a bit as they get across the line. Coming up very soon. We're in sector 2 right now and running. Out in front, both Haas drivers are getting pretty well, so it's going to probably be a 1-2 finish for them, but Gargamel does have to avoid getting any more penalties. This could still cost him P2 in the race if he does get a penalty here right now. 2 seconds is the gap he does have with Devils there. So if he does get a second more, then he probably will afford to get another penalty, but still, I wouldn't risk that at this point in the race here right now. He definitely is going to have to want to try and get every single corner perfect without avoiding any mistakes at this point. Gaps are just about 5/10 between Jerry and Devils and Groot here as well, so all still going pretty well. I'm going to go on out in front with our race leader here. Cuban has led most of this race and is about to go across the line, takes the win for the British Grand Prix. Gargamel comes across the line 2nd, and it's a 1-2 finish for the Haas drivers there. Groot is going to take 3rd in the race, goes across the line on the podium there. Devils takes 4th, Dan Clement will take 5th here, Entier takes 6th, Jerry takes 7th. We got Leo taking 8th after that. We're going to have a look at the final results as that finishes up, but still, that was quite an interesting finish to the British Grand Prix, and quite... Oh, and there we go. Driver of the day goes to Gargamel, and not too bad of a race for him. Did fight his way quite a lot to get up onto that podium there and finish 1-2 for Haas with along with his teammate there. I think it was most pressure on Gargamel to finish off that. And yeah, Cuban did start that race there, right there. P1 finished there, led most of the race, I got to say, and finished back there. Just a few laps he didn't lead when he did his pit stop. That was it. So there is the race finish results for the British Grand Prix, guys. So Cuban takes the win on that for Haas, and Gargamel finishes second on the podium, gets driver of the day, and makes it a 1-2 finish for Haas. Groot finishes third on the podium. Devil finishes fourth. Dan Clement will finish fifth there. Entry finishes sixth. Jerry's seventh. We got Leo finishing eighth. Debisac finishes ninth. Mercedes takes 10th. Demon takes 11. Escas 12. Prasek 13. Cap 14. Havlis 15. Ready Muse 16. Lukey 17. 2GG's 18. Sagan there 19. And Jurek there 20th on the grid. And looks like Ready Muse did have the fastest lap. Of course, didn't finish the race, so I'm not sure how that works out. But quite an incredible race here from the guys at EFRL. So a lot of fun streaming the race there, guys. So thanks you guys for having me back on again for this session. Really a lot of fun. So make sure you guys subscribe to the EFRL channel. Make sure you guys leave this video a like. And do also check out my channel, IG8Live Esports, your commentators channel. Have a look at that. I do a lot of these races for other leagues on there as well. So you'll find that happening there. So thank you guys for joining us on here at EFRL for this stream. It was a lot of fun for this race. Join us again next week for the next race right here on the channel. To be live. So we'll see you guys until then. So thank you guys once again for joining on. Do leave a like on the stream. Remember guys to subscribe to this channel if you're new on here.